Hello buddy, welcome to another quick video. I want to talk a little bit today about gear. And not just camera gear like you might think, but gear that helps you when you're out and about, when you're taking the photos. A lot of people just put too much emphasis on, oh, you've got to have the latest kit, oh, super megapixels, got to be better than everybody else. That's what the manufacturers are telling me. But if you're out and about with your super sparkly camera, and let's say, like we are at the moment, it's due to rain, what you're wearing can make a massive difference and actually alter your photography and what you experience from it. So, where we are at the moment, we're at the top of Newlands Pass in the Lake District, and there's rain coming through at the moment, so cracking light over in the distance, which I've grabbed a shot of, which you've just seen. There's a little waterfall over yonder. So, I'm going to grab a few shots from the area and have a chat to you about what sort of things that, for different circumstances, are likely to sort of really help you with your photography. So, as it's raining, well, the first thing to mention is good waterproofs. Now, I'm not talking going stupid and paying thousands of pounds on outdoor gear. If you want to do this as a bit of a plaything, bit of a hobby like I do, I'm just going to pop this hood up. There we go. Something like this is ideal. Now, this is a Crackhopper's jacket, which is not the budget end. You tend to find budget end, they're okay, but they're not fantastic. Okay, in a light shower, you get out in proper deluge, you will get wet. Whereas this, it's a reasonable level, and the quality is up there to sort of say, right, you can rely on it a little bit when you're out and about. Now this is, well, it's sort of last year's model effectively, which meant I got a stupidly good deal. This was just over 50 quid for a jacket that originally retailed at 210. But because obviously it's last year's, they're shifting the stock on. The jacket's still fantastic, but it means that I spend a lot less than I would do normally. So you can get that into the budget. You don't necessarily need waterproof trousers. You can get cheap over trousers that work just as well. And then when the rain stops, you can just take them off, pop them in your bag. Not a problem. And that's another thing I will talk about, the bag. And why getting the right bag can really help you out. No, that ain't going to work, is it? So, as I was saying before, I got rudely interrupted by rain, wind and hail. Very glad I got the waterproof on. Still very, very windy at the moment, but hopefully it's not too bad on the mic. Essentially, if you're carrying every single bit of kit that you've got and you're out on a hike, at the end of the day, you're going to be an absolute bits. No matter how fit you are, it'll affect your back. Which is why having A, the right bag, and B, the right amount of loading in the bag for what you're doing is very, very important. I run two main bags at the moment. Got an option coming up on a third, but I'm still mulling over at the moment. But I've got what I'm wearing now, which is my Shimoda 35 litre Explore V2. It's a fantastic bag, which is very, very customisable, and allows me, I don't know if you can make out the straps, to actually adjust the height of the pack. Which makes a massive difference. Most camera bags don't give you that option. It's more of a hiking bag option. Now, one that I bought Trace for Christmas is a PG Tech 25 litre bag, which dimension wise is about the same as this, but it's got all of the features of a hiking bag. So you've actually got a full frame in there and all the bits to go with it, and it makes a massive difference in the comfort if you're doing a long hike, and also the ability to actually have the bag set up and not really sort of have it tiring you while you're doing the hike. I don't know how much you're about to hear me at the minute, but this wind is absolutely brutal up here. We're looking about 45-mile-an-hour winds. We're on a fairly open plateau. The valley behind me is looking absolutely stunning, but I can't even breathe when I'm facing in towards it, so I'm going to head back down towards the van and I'll speak to you when we get there. So, as I was saying, having the right bag can really make a difference. But even if you can't afford a larger bag, have something small with you with just an insert. It makes such a difference. I mean, I carry my camera on a clip, just on the strap. Because I like to have it to hand, so if I'm out and about, I see something straight out, I'm not going to faff around getting stuff out of the bag. For me, that's quite important. Doesn't suit everybody. You know, some people are quite happy sort of spending like 2 or 3 minutes sort of setting up, getting the shot right and stuff like that. For me, I prefer to actually have it to hand and ready to go as soon as I'm ready, just seeing the shot, especially if you've got sort of fleeting light that we've got today. But the difference that you can get from having a comfortable pack that's well loaded is massive. I started out when I first got going, I got like the fairly generic camera bags, sort of 30 quid off Amazon sort of thing, and they're a good little pack. But when you start out, you tend to load stuff up, and that becomes a problem. So you've ended up with your main camera, your big lens, your medium lens, your little lens, 3-4 batteries, a tripod maybe, you've got extras and bits like that, and you load up with about 10-15k pack, and it's absolute torture when you're out and about. What I've got in here now is a spare battery, a pack of SD cards, and I've actually got macro lens in there as well. That's it. I've got a 35 litre bag with nothing in it, because it's all about the weight. The reason I've got this bag is if we're out and about, I can put jackets and bits and bobs in there. It doesn't take up a lot of room as far as sort of needing space for camera gear, because I'm not taking it with me. I take what I need, not any extras. Changing things up like that makes a massive difference to your enjoyment of your photography, and can make such a difference when you're out, because if you're enjoying the experience, you'll get better shots. It makes such a difference. And while we're talking about it, footwear. This also has a massive bearing on how enjoyable your experience is. Now, these are reasonably well priced, sort of mid-range handbag boots. They're slightly technical, good enough for a good mountain climb, but also good enough to actually have a bit of a tramp around. Which means, especially for the sort of stuff that I do, like out in the fells, these are ideal. For someone that's just walking around the streets, you want something that's going to be comfortable, like a decent set of trainers or something like that. But certainly out these sort of parts, a good set of walking boots will pay dividends, and you'll really appreciate it after a couple of hours on the fells. I do see a lot of people when they're out walking in jeans and trainers. Yeah, it's fine if you're just doing like a little hill, but if you're doing some of these bigger ones that are a lot more technical, and Robinson up there, that is very, very steep. You're going to need a decent set of boots, and absolutely point blank avoid denim, because if it rains like it just did, you will get soaked, and the denim will hold on to that for hours and hours, and it will make you miserable. So don't bother with denim if you're out walking. I mean, I've got a set of, I think these were sort of like 22 quid, something silly like that. Pair of trousers from, I think these are from Decathlon. So reasonable sort of build, but you're not paying the earth for them. I've got a lot of sort of Craghoppers Kiwi Pros as well from doing some of the more challenging stuff, because they've got a little bit more stretch. But these are great for just bombing around in. They dry really quickly. Like I say, I did get soaked through to the skin on my trousers with that rainstorm that came through. These now are completely bone dry. Little bit of wind, obviously it's heavily blown dry by the 45-mile-an-hour winds up on the top there. But yeah, I'm dry now, it's not a problem. Jacket, there's just a slight amount of rain left on it. You know, that's gone now, so I'm pretty much dry. The backpack I know is waterproof. The camera I know is waterproof, so I don't really need to worry about it. The only thing I do worry about is this Osmo that I'm filming on, which is why when it did come down properly, that went in the pocket out of the way, so you're not risking sort of ruining something that's not waterproof in a deluge like that. Another thing you might have noticed while I've been out and about, especially when I've been doing videos up in the fells, I tend to wear bright colours. There's two reasons for that. One, I quite like bright colours, but two, especially if we're up in the hills, let's say something goes wrong. You stock up on a hillside and you're wearing this lovely camouflage jacket and you're blending in with the hillside. If you need to be rescued, how are they going to find you? Something I was taught very early on, part of the scouts and stuff like that, is if you're going out on the hills, wear something that is bright, or take something bright with you that you can sort of use as a bit of a marker. So if the worst does happen, at least you stand a chance of actually being sort of picked up and they can find you. There's so many people going outside, oh, they brought this fantastic, sort of dark green, blends in with the hillside. Brilliant technical jackets and stuff like that, but for me, no. The bright colours are the way. I think another important thing to consider as well is dress for the conditions that you're out in. Obviously, at the moment we've got high winds and intermittent, stupidly heavy rain. This coat is windproof and waterproof. I've also got a fleece on underneath here, so I can keep pretty warm. Obviously I'm moving around, so it's not like I'm standing still very much and sort of getting frozen. So yeah, this actually works quite nicely. Just keep the weather at bay. If I was out in particularly cold conditions, which I've done before, normally I've got my sort of synthetic down jacket that I wear. I can also pop the waterproof in as well. I've also got fleeces that I can wear underneath that. Basically I've sized all my clothes so they actually will layer fine, but they're not too baggy when you're not wearing the layers. It does make a big difference for your comfort if you're wearing something that fits properly. Goes with shoes, jackets, jumpers, stuff like that. But it basically means that if you can sort of control the layers, you can control your temperature, and especially if you've got handy space in your bag because you've not overloaded it, means you can put stuff away if you're not needing it, and it gets warmer as you're going through your hike. So I think the important thing to take away is gear matters, but not exactly how you'd expect it to. Yes, having the right camera for the right job makes a big difference. So if you're going out with wildlife, you need the lens and stuff like that. Doing landscape, again, you need the right sort of lenses, the right sort of kit. Having waterproofing really does help. It's not essential. You can get rain covers. So yeah, things you've got to just plan out a little bit more, and hopefully with a little bit of sort of practice, you can get it about right. So with all these things taken into consideration, do you need stupid budgets to actually go out and dress for the occasion and get the right sort of things? No, you don't. Like I said, boots, for me, I have a bit of a problem with my feet, so I tend to have to get slightly more expensive ones just so I know they're actually going to work properly. But you can get some really good cheap boots. I mean, if you are thinking of doing some serious fell walking up into the lakes areas, you can do a lot worse than head up to Keswick and go to the Keswick Boot Company. They understand what you're trying to do with a boot and will sort try and sell you the right boot. But if they don't think a boot is right, they won't sell you anything. It's really refreshing to actually have a couple in Kerry and Alex that won't actually just go out there. They're not there to make the money, they're actually to make sure that you are getting the right boot. It makes the world of difference. So yeah, I definitely do recommend them. It's not paid or anything like that, it's just I've been there for a few pairs of boots now and I won't go anywhere else if I'm going to actually get the right boot for what I'm looking for. You don't need to do that sort of thing if you're doing, obviously it's a street, if you're doing a lot of seascape stuff, a decent pair of wellies might come in handy, because obviously sometimes you're going to be out in the sea and stuff like that. Having that sort of kit doesn't need to be massively expensive. I tend to avoid the super budget stuff purely because I've found before that it is a case of you buy cheap, you buy twice. I've had some cheaper waterproofs that really haven't cut the mustard at all. They've really sort of leaked quite early on and they've not been very good. I found this crag-up is stuff to be very good. I know a lot of people rave over a rab and stuff like that, but to me that's too much in the expense side of things. I don't do this enough to warrant spending that sort of money, but that's just me. But yeah, if you can get the best that you can afford within reason, it'll pay for dividends for you going forward. So yeah, that's the bit that makes a difference to me. Yes, the camera gear helps and the kit that goes with it, but the ancillaries, the extras like the backpack, the capture clips, stuff like that, they just add to the enjoyment and will make your experience so much better when you're out with the camera taking shots in conditions like this. And another really handy thing to have are these microfiber cloths. I think these are about £3 for a pack of 10. You tend to find the super cheapy ones that you get in supermarkets. They don't really dry very well, but these are like a double layer fine microfiber mesh. These work brilliantly for mopping things up, cleaning your lens, and basically if everything gets wet, just give it a wipe down. I carry one in the bag, normally one in my pocket when we go out if it's looking like it's going to be a bit iffy. But yeah, another real sort of budget option that can really help out if you're out and about and the weather isn't particularly fantastic. Now what I've done, I've put some links down below to some of the gear that I run. None of this is affiliate, this is nothing to do with that I've been paid for anything of this. This is just the gear that I use and the stuff that I find works for me. Doesn't work for everybody, but I think it works for me. So you can get an idea of what sort of things are out there. For me, I found the Shimoda backpack was a breath of fresh air because it let me customise things to the point of I could actually set the pack exactly where it needed to be, whereas a lot of camera bags you don't get that option. So that for me became a real important part. Like I say, if your body shape works and you've got the sort of body that a normal camera bag doesn't sort of hurt your shoulders or anything like that, yeah, perfect. Go with that sort of thing. But definitely this Shimoda or the PGY Tech that I bought Trace, which I'll put a link down below. They're not cheap bags. Absolutely, they're not cheap bags, but you are getting exactly what you pay for. They're robust, waterproof, spacious, and very customizable, which is absolutely what I was after for this, and certainly for Trace as well, because she does have a problem with having normal backpacks that sit onto your back. So having like a mesh back with aluminium frame, like the PGY Tech, has been perfect for it. It's absolutely brilliant. But with these conditions, I'm going to grab a few more shots, pop a few shots up here at the end for you. If you found the video useful, please do give us a big thumbs up. Really helps out. And if you're not subscribed, please do hit subscribe. Helps out no end, free of charge, but it helps me out something rotten. But from a very windy and very changeable Newlands Valley, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Take care.
I've been here before, familiar with the view. This ain't nothing new. And every time that you walk through the